to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check waifu waifu. Teliano, is that you?
It is me. What's up? Episode 214.
This is episode 214 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, brought to you by Lube Complex Don't Talk Shop, as well as Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu. Make sure you go to Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu Waifu to get early access to the video version of this podcast, to get access to the conversational, exclusive Patreon podcast, the after story, as well as get access to our watch alongs, read alongs, trailer reacts, etc. Let's go ahead and thank our Patreon producers. These are the highest of highest tiers that support us, and we can't thank you enough for supporting us. It means the world to us. Thank you so much. Shout out to Dre to Go G, Johnny from Shogo High, Kenta Pro from Chaotic Culture Podcast, Explicitly, Monique Williams, Nachi, and Saphir. Thank you so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We truly couldn't do this without y'all. It means the world to us. Thank you. Thank you very, 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 very much. Now, Mic Check Waifu Waifu is the anime podcast. It's brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CDT, where we talk about anime topics, conversations, that is brought from those seasonal anime and more. This is going to be a fun week this week. 214. We are 2 weeks away from episode 216. 216. That is going to be our YouTube live stream episode. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Mic Check Waifu Waifu, the @ symbol @Mic Check Waifu Waifu. So you can know when we go live and do that episode. That episode is going to be, looking at the calendar, let me make sure I got this right. Sunday, August 20th. August 20th is going to be episode 216, the live stream. So August 20th, 10:30 p.m. CDT. We're going to go live on YouTube. It's just going to be a regular episode. The difference is we're going to have YouTube chat up. We're going to be taking questions, comments, and concerns straight from the YouTube comments and chatting with y'all live. And it's going to be going live on Tuesday like a normal podcast episode. We're just doing it live on YouTube so you guys can communicate with us and talk with us there. So remember, youtube.com/@Mic Check Waifu Waifu. Subscribe so you know when we go live. More on that throughout the couple coming weeks. Man, I want to say one thing first. Well, nah, let's get into what's your episode of the week this week. Let's start there first.
How are you doing?
Oh, I guess I should say hi. I guess I should ask how you feeling. How you feeling, brother? That's crazy. Man. I just skipped all that, huh?
Hear me out. This has been a long week. And I don't know why. I have no idea why it's been a long week, bro. Maybe it's because this has been, my parents just left.
Right.
You know what I mean? Some of y'all might know my mom and dad was in town. But it feels like my parents just left and we had a real good time. But after they left, it's just been a long week. I don't know what it is.
Long week in a bad way?
Not at all. Not at all, though, bro. Because like it ain't been long in a sense of like it's bad. I just feel like it's been almost 2 weeks since we recorded.
Well, probably because last week you was asleep.
Almost. I was out of it. And y'all know how that episode was. Yeah, I was out of it. But I'm here today. I'm hyped, bro.
That still was a fire episode though.
It always is. It always is. I don't even know why I have so much energy right now. I have not had an energy drink. I'm just full of energy. But yeah, it's been a good week, long week. Next week on Monday, which will be technically like a week from tomorrow.
Okay.
Apollo's birthday.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped for him. He keep asking for the wildest stuff, but we're gonna make it for him. We're gonna give him the experience he want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
what do 6-year-olds want? He don't want nothing important. It's like, bro, we looking to do something for you. Take you to NASA Museum or something. He like, I don't want to do none of that.
What are you asking for?
He want a milkshake, a birthday milkshake. I'm like, bro, you don't want, you love trains. You want a toy train set?
No, I want a milkshake.
You want a new computer? What do you want? He like, I want a milkshake. I want a birthday milkshake. I'm like, all right, bro, you gonna get your birthday milkshake.
Hey, you got it. This is easy, man. At least it's easy.
Right. How are you feeling, Polo?
Man, I'm just as good as I've ever been, man. I've been doing better. We still got to get that after story episode up of what's been going on, but I'm still not sharing it yet. I'm great, man. I'm in a great space, you know. Great space. Baldur's Gate 3 came out. And for those,
not bad. I ain't mean that.
As y'all know, I'm a video game fanatic. I would never play like Dungeons and Dragons tabletop real life shit because I'm not a fucking nerd. No, I'm just kidding.
You're a narc.
I'm definitely a nerd, but
100%.
This game is easily game of the year so far. I still got until Starfield come out, but easily the permutations of conversational dialogue choices that you can make. I mean, you can knock boots with all kinds of creatures. It's all kinds of shit going on in this fucking game. There's you have to pick a. Never mind. I'm not going.
So, question.
Well, yeah.
Do you feel like you playing D&D though?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I love that.
This game is spectacular. Like, it's unbelievable. This shit. Like, we've been playing it. Me and the boys been playing it. And that's shout out to Nebraska, Legal Overdose, and Malik. We all been playing it in the Discord, in my streaming Discord, and we've been streaming it with each other. We've been talking about the different choices we make here. So I went here and this happened, and I went here and this happened, and it's just so many. Like, there, you can go you could play the entire game without getting a whole character. You can just miss complete stories that you would never see, entire like sections of the world that you would never see because you decide to take a different route. And it's just spectacular. It's so good, man. It's, you know what it remind me of, to bring it into the realm of anime.
What's that?
Overlord.
It's reasonable, because
this is exactly what it fucking feels like. And incredible. I'm isekai, bro. I'm isekai. I got me a wood elf warlock. Okay, he's a wood elf warlock that has the fiend pact. That's
my class. I love warlocks.
Warlocks is literally the best. I'm high charismatic. I'm smoothing my way through conversations. I'm skipping entire fights because I'm just smooth talking my way. Exactly. I'm smooth talking my way through shit. It's spectacular, man. You can literally fight a whole goblin camp, or you can not. You can just stalk your way through it. It's an incredible game. So far right now, it's game of the year for me. It's Overlord. It's Overlord the game, basically, and I fucking love it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I feel like out of all my friends, I'm the only one that hasn't played it yet.
You're a fucking demon. That's why. What's up with that?
I was born half demon, but I decided to cut that side of my family out. So that's how y'all got me. Yeah, bro. But let's talk about anime.
Let's do it. All right. What was your episode of the week this week?
I'm gonna probably go with. Let me mark it out. Watch that. Ugh. I'm gonna go with. It's hard not to say stuff like Jujutsu Kaisen, because that was really, really good. Even though it looks like it's gonna be gone for a month. I'm gonna go with Rent a Girlfriend.
Again, 2 weeks in a row for Rent a Girlfriend.
Yeah, I got to. I got to. What about you?
It was another great episode. For me, Bleach.
I didn't want to say Bleach because I feel like Bleach was too easy, too obvious. Because that was my first thought. My first thought. Bleach
was spectacular. Everything about it was fucking phenomenal.
The consistency, bro.
The consistency. I just can't believe. Do I want to? Fuck it, I'll say it. Do I want to say it? I'm contemplating.
Precipice of Blaze, or wait, Defeat. Sorry.
Yeah. I can't believe Renji won the fight.
But hear me out.
For the first time ever in all the episodes we watched of Bleach, he's never won a fight. Like Sasuke. He's finally won.
But hear me out though. It was such a well-deserved fight too. And it was like a flex, bro. It was a flex. Because what it does is it only makes you realize, yo, Ichigo is about to be a monster. If Renji came back like this, like unscathed by a dude who's out here body bagging people left and right.
Yep.
Renji coming back like this just goes to show that it's about to be some actual problems.
Yeah, what we heard from Rukia, she's like, yeah, you can beat him easily now with the form you are in now. I'm like, oh shit. So that means
and I feel like he still ain't showed us nothing yet. You know what I mean?
So that means when Byakuya comes back, when Ichigo comes back, it's about to be fucking just domination. I'm like, it's spectacular. It's spectacular the way they kind of like the way they building this up, because we know exactly what's gonna happen. Bleach Talk is going to go later before the spoiler half. We got to bring Bleach Talk back this week because it's just that good. I don't even remember. We didn't talk about it last week, did we? Yes, we did. I don't fucking remember. We did. Okay.
But,
normally we do 2 episodes, so maybe this is all we need to say, and we'll just skip it for now until next week. Keep it at 2 weeks.
You know what this episode made me forget about until you just started bringing up some of that stuff, like when you said bring like Byakuya back and stuff like that. Yeah. I completely forgot Aizen was a thing, and this was so overwhelming. Like in this episode, like how strong Renji came through, that it almost feel like we don't need no Aizens.
Straight up.
We don't need them. What is an Aizen? Go ahead and skip that. Your watch ain't worried about Aizen either. We ain't worried about them. So let's go ahead and go on with our day. It was a really, really good episode. 100% worth episode of the week.
Oh yeah, facts. All right, moving on, man. Tell, you said you watched something live action? Yeah,
so hear me out. And I'm not sure how accurate it is to the anime, but this anime did not have an episode this week. So my wife and I watched Zom 100 live action movie.
Oh, it's a movie.
Yes.
Interesting.
It was so much fucking fun.
Interesting. Okay.
It was so much fun.
What's some of it? Before you get to the details of it,
I'm not gonna share too much yet, but go ahead.
Okay. Did it end where the show is still, or did it end somewhere further?
In like a similar place, you know what I mean, but not quite, right? It doesn't seem like it's far off from like a next episode kind of thing. But the thing is, and hear me out. I do want to do I'm gonna do a Patreon video for this, talking about the Zom 100 live action. But I only want to say this part kind of. If you look at the Zom 100 opening trailer, like the opening intro, the OP, it shows things and characters that did not exist in the movie. So I'm not sure how true it is to the movie, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I feel like, and even if you look at the parts, like the first 30 to 45 minutes was like the opening where he realizes he hates his job and the zombie apocalypse stuff happens, and then that stuff, right? He runs over to the girl's house. That was like the first 40 minutes or so. Yeah. Everything after that was kind of just like all over the place and super fast. But it was fun. But there was characters like the blonde haired chick that we see in the trailer, who is like donning the samurai gear. Never saw him. But they did do justice to that scene where he went to go get his football playing friend.
Okay.
They did mad justice to that scene. It was a night scene though, and it looked, in a lot of ways, it felt more fun than the anime, which is wild because I did not think I was going to say that. But I'll break it down more on Patreon. So for y'all who are subscribed to Patreon, expect that this week because I'm excited to talk about it. So
we appreciate that. We appreciate y'all that support us, get access to that. Oh, so okay, so like, damn, the movie, huh?
Yeah.
So you think I should watch it?
If you watch it, we can do a little review together. The only thing is, and this is the only thing, is I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know how accurate it is to the actual anime, so I didn't want to like draw any real comparisons. Like I said, I feel like there was stuff we did not see in this that already happened in the anime, and then there was stuff that happened. I was like, I don't even know if this shit is gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like I have no idea. It happened so fast that I don't think they could have fit the entire season into this movie, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Interesting stuff, man. Okay. Now I'm curious. Now I'm super curious. All right, and then with that, we're gonna bring it to the topic. Tell, you said you had a topic for me.
All right.
You want to surprise me so I don't have any. I have no clue about what this was about.
Outside of the obvious, right? Outside of the obvious anime, like for instance, our episode of the week and stuff like that. You know how we have like heat weeks where the week of the anime was so good? I thought this week was trash, bro. I did not enjoy almost any anime this week. Almost none of it. Like the Undead Murder Farce, I think the episode had great contextual stuff there. You know what I mean?
But not strong.
But not strong. You know what I mean? But it was to set the tone for what's to come, right?
Yeah.
Great preface. Like it prefaced what's to come. Cool. Really cool episode. Liar, liar, I ain't gonna hold you. I hate this anime.
This show, I like this shit a lot.
I know you do.
This shit's so good.
And I watched this episode, was like, yo, this is garbage, man. And I know it's my opinion, but I'm watching it and I'm like, this is when he said, what kind of ass pull ability is that? I was like, right? But I get it. That's the whole point of the show. But I was like, I hate this show.
Yes. Yeah.
The gene of AI even. And the thing is I know that I wasn't necessarily expecting huge things like this, right? Because this anime is a little too close to real life. And I feel like we are getting close to the point to where something like this might actually be feasible. In this episode, the context that they had, you said you dropped it?
Yeah, I dropped it after episode 1. I couldn't continue.
I'll give a little bit of context, but basically there's a little boy who is upset that all his friends are already modded and he hasn't been, that kind of stuff. And it just talks about how like when you do this, like things change. You can change the personality types. You can change these kind of things, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yo, this is stupid. Like, I get it. And I actually don't think it's stupid. I just think that maybe it's too soon for this anime. I don't know if it's too soon for this anime.
Yeah.
But because it's actually probably like a little too on the nose almost even. But the way they do it, it almost isn't like, it's not drawing you in, but it's right on the nose almost.
Yeah, maybe because it's not as grandiose as something like Vivi, right? So, and it doesn't have anything that feel like I feel that should have brought me back, right? Like I didn't want to come back after episode 1. After episode 1, I'm like, you know what? Every time I would start the episode, I just wouldn't. I didn't have a reason to watch or to continue watching.
But the issue is like it's not even at the show itself. Like the context of preface or the idea of the show is actually solid.
Yeah.
The issue I have with the show is that, like, for instance, I told you I don't like Liar Liar. At least that show has characters that make you want to come back and watch it.
Yeah. And it goes deep.
AI has none of that. It has none of that. But I'm literally telling you, when I look at these episodes a week, even Reign of the Seven Spell Blades, I wasn't feeling it this week. I tried to give everything a fair shot. And the ones that stood out to me obviously were good. Like the Dreaming Boy is a realist for me, has never missed so far.
Right.
I feel like it's been consistently good. The girl I like forgot her glasses. I'm ready to throw that shit out the window.
Yeah, shit is annoying.
I'm ready to throw it out the window the whole show. Am I actually the strongest? I know that's my sleeper. I don't even think it's bad. This episode though, nah, I throw that out the window.
Nah, you crazy. You crazy.
You like this episode?
Dog, okay. This is where you gotta put it into
compartmentalize.
Yes, thank you, because I fucking hate that word. You have to that the beginning of that episode when he first started and he goes straight to where he went, and that I'm not gonna spoil it. That altercation ensues. That shit was so fire because it made me, you know what it made me think? I'm like, damn, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, Tell must like this because it has a villain that's actually interesting. Being who the villain is. I'm like, that shit kind of fire. And then it just goes right to it. It gets right to the shit and it just happens. But then what the problem is with, because I agree that it wasn't the best episode. It's not a bad show by any means. The thing is it has sections that are awful.
Right.
The sections that are great are fucking phenomenal. Like they outshine the show by a lot. And then you have the parts that are bad. And the parts that are bad, they're bad. They're real bad. Right. It lasts so long.
And hear me out. It's like a relationship, right? In some relationships, things are so good that you're like, oh my God, that was so good. And then you have a drought of like just bad. And you're like, why can I only remember the bad? And I'm not saying that because I think, like I said, I don't think any of the shows I'm actually watching right now are actually bad. I don't like Liar Liar. I'm saying that. But I don't actually think the show is bad. And I think I did say this last week that a lot of the shows that we are watching aren't bad, but some of them aren't necessarily resonating with me. But this week to me felt like you know how we had the heat weeks. This felt like a week. It felt like something about this week is not hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, no, you're right. I would agree with that.
Pistons are misfiring. I'm not sure what it was, but you know what I mean?
A week is definitely generally what I have to call it, but I have to like set my expectations because let me see. There's very few shows that I'm watching now, right? So Undead Murder Farce, Classroom of Heroes. I really fucking enjoyed this episode. Like this most recent episode of Classroom of Heroes was fucking fire to me, only because I like the Maria character a lot.
The Demon King.
Yeah, she was fun. I really enjoyed her. She's definitely waifu, but like I'm not watching Link Click obviously because I'm saving that until that's done and I'm gonna binge that all the way through. And JJK was fire, of course.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think with the exception of the very specific ones, right? Like, come on, bro. We're not including Jobless Reincarnation in this conversation about
that episode's fire.
We're not including Jujutsu Kaisen. We're not including Bleach. And I'm not including the Dream Boys or Realist, but just about everything else to me, and outside of Undead Murder Farce as well.
Do the math, right? Do that math that you just said.
I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, or no, that was a good one.
Is it a week? It's not blowing our socks off though. Yeah,
and then you think of like Zom 100 didn't have an episode this week.
That was a whole. That's a whole.
Of the anime I'm watching, which we did cut down, and I have 2 that I'm only going to watch this week because they have 6 episodes. Now I'm going to watch 6 episodes, and then
Right.
So
let us know a couple of weeks ago.
Anime with 2 that I haven't watched yet because, like I said, they're on. I'm not watching until 6 episodes. So technically 14, half of them a week to me.
So 50%.
And to me, that's weak. Now, hear me out though. We can say JJK made up for it. We can definitely say Bleach made up for it. You know what I mean? And Zom 100, like I said, didn't have an episode this week, but Zom 100 has been really good so far. And I mean, if I say I watched the movie and the movie was enjoyable, we can throw that in there. But I'm just saying, there was so much this week that just was not phenomenal for me. And I kind of wanted to get your perspective on that. Like, how do you feel about this week though? Like, was this week for your list of anime? Because I know you are watching a few things that I'm not watching. How was your list this week for your anime?
Very interesting that you bring this up because funny enough, while I'm playing contrarian to what you're saying, intentionally just to have some dichotomy and then some differences in the show topic, I agree. I fucking agree. I agree wholeheartedly only because like it's not as memorable. But the problem with us, right, with our podcast, our structure is that we're a week to week show. We cover week to week anime, week to week. I think if you put it in a perspective of just having like just talking about the shows in general when they're done or when there's 7 episodes in and that's when we finally discuss it, it's hard for me to say like I don't know. I gotta put myself in a headspace that we're a week to week show, and I have to keep remaining that. But when I'm looking at the show in its entirety, I think about it in the perspective of, because we don't talk about every show week to week, I put it in the perspective of, is the show I'm watching still good enough to say to the person like Simi Sensei or to Christian or anybody that's watching or listening to this later down the road? Right. Is this show still good enough for me to, like, do I watch this show? Do I binge this show all the way through? You know what I'm saying? Is this anime good enough to continue to binge through, or should I, is it worth binging through? So that's what I try to do when I'm recording this. And sorry if I'm jumbling that up, but it's hard for me to put it in perspective because I try to think about those people. You know what I'm saying? Right. Those people that listen to us later. Those people who are just finding a podcast who said, no, I'm gonna go to this episode because this episode is titled a week ? I want to see what this means. And then then okay, this means that the week that they watch these shows is weak, but is the show weak?
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to give some like leeway to, right? Because when we say we got heat weeks, we know what a heat week is. A heat week is a heat week, and they hit us with the heat week every single time. Every season. I ain't gonna hold you. This next week is probably going to be a heat week because we got a lot of episode 6s coming up. We got a lot of episode 7s coming up.
Turning points, yep.
It's probably going to be a heat week. Right. But the issue that I have right now, and it's like I said, it's not to take away from the entirety of the show. We are week to week. And week to week will lead us to, and like I said, I don't think we've really had this often, maybe like one other time, at least from my personal feeling. But I feel like we've never actually had a full week where it's just so much of it was not phenomenal, especially once we done trim down, cut the fat out of the list and stuff like that. Because like I said, I'm not saying that what we're watching is bad. Right. I'm just trying to see like what was the week for? Like why is it coming at us like this a little sideways?
There is about, let's do this. There is about 2 episodes of, let's say, okay, no, there's no episodes of ReZero for me personally. There's one episode, maybe 2 episodes of the entire Clannad. So that's Clannad and Clannad the story. Those 2 episodes probably in its entirety that I would consider weak. No episodes in Summertime Rendering. I'm going through my top 10. No episodes in Grimgar, Fantasy and Ash that I consider weak. No episodes of 86 that I consider weak. See, this one's tough because it's Steins Gate. Steins Gate is at number 6. Steins Gate intentionally, I think, has a weak beginning, maybe first 3 episodes or so, intentionally. So do you count that?
But hear me out.
If I was watching the week to week, to be honest, if I was watching Steins Gate week to week and I just watched the first episode and I was on the fence, and then the second episode came out, I would probably still be on the fence and consider dropping it until the third.
But hear me out, and you're right. So Steins Gate to me has no weak episodes. And I only say that in perspective to the fact that it puts me in the mindset of love flops. And I see these 2 shows kind of differently, right? I'm gonna kind of give you my point of view on this. Steins Gate has no weak episodes, whereas Love Flops does have weak episodes. Steins Gate has no weak episodes because once you get to that point to where everything is explained and makes sense, if you go back and rewatch it, it's like perfect. A show like Love Flops, it has weak episodes, but after that revelation. And I say that because the beginning of that show, you're like, yo, this is stupid. Why am I watching this? And then you get the whole meaning to the Love Flops, and you get that turnaround, and everything at that point before it is actually like, oh yeah, yo, that's actually really, really good. Actually, when you think about it, contextually is good, but everything after that, it actually just like is mad mediocre.
You know what the perfect example for this is, and I want to get this thought out before I forget it.
What's that?
Going to my number 11 show of my number 11 anime. No, my number 7th anime of all time. And that's My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. It brings me back to the conversation I had when I begged you to watch it and you started it. And you was like, I don't know about this show. Right. It's like episode 6 or 7 or something like that. Something far as fuck into the show. Yeah, okay. Far as fuck into the show. And then you're like, oh. Then you realize like the attachments you grew to the characters from the beginning on, and you start to understand like where this is going and how you feeling about the characters. And like during that time frame, like if this was week to week, you were saying, I remember at this time specifically, you were saying, I don't think this show is that good. I'm not really feeling this show that much.
Right.
And we got the logs. This was the great thing about having so many episodes, is we got the logs of the proof of you saying this. And maybe Christian can find a timestamp for us of when we talked about My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, because that was a very interesting time for me, because my mind was blown hearing you say this, because I of course, it was one of my favorite series of all times.
It's currently one of mine.
So, and now it's that. So like, what do you say to that perspective when it comes to this particular topic? Because you had, if you put it in perspective, you had a week, 6 weeks of the show.
Yeah.
According to that time.
And see, that's the thing though. And that's why like I wanted to get that perspective, because the integrity of the show is sometimes built at the latter end of like a specific season or even a point in the show, right? Like you get those turning points and we talk about them before, but yeah, a week shouldn't hold you back, especially if it's just 1 week. Now, when you have multiple weeks, then I mean, obviously that show could just not be for you. But I know we also talked about this. Sometimes you gotta let it breathe, let it cook. If you let a stew, you cooking a stew for 8 hours, bro. If you take that stew out in 3 hours, it's not good.
You know what I just thought about too?
What's that?
Oh boy, shit! I didn't let it slip. You were fucking newborn at Slice of Life, and that's probably why. And that's when I put it in the perspective of what that conversation was back then. That was almost 4 years ago or something shit like that. It was far as fuck ago. So like that putting into perspective like that, I can see, because from the beginning to end for My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, for me, beginning to end, spectacular. But it's because I was used to the structure of Slice of Life in a way that they literally, Slice of Life can be literally nothing for 20 episodes. And then the 21st episode, it turned up. Exactly. It turns into something spectacular. And this particular show, it was literally just high school, of a high school kid who was just trying to stay out the way. So it wasn't much to it at all at the beginning of My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu. And I understand from a perspective of somebody who's watched anime, who's watched so many different types of anime, more so on the action side or more so on the side of mystery, horror, of your particular space. You will look at it like, why I could just watch anything else. Yes, I can just regular sitcom and probably get the same thing. That's completely understandable. So I kind of answered my own question here.
Yeah,
coming from where you were coming from, I get it. And yeah. I gotta say, man, if you guys are listening to this and your genre is, you love My Hero, you love Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, whatever your favorite show is, you love that shit to death. Go, just take this week alone, pick something up and watch something completely out of your genre. So if you love Slice of Life, pick up an isekai. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like isekai, or like Grimgar Fantasy Nash, pick that up. Or if you love isekai and you don't like Slice of Life, pick up Golden Time. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just pick something up that's completely out of your genre, and then let us know if you have the time. If you don't have the time, I understand, but let us know what you loved about it, what you didn't like about it. Just anything that's outside of your favorite genre. I just want to hear what people think about just taking a dip out, because I think the greatest thing that's ever been done in the history of My Check Waifu is getting Montel to watch Slice of Life, because hearing you talk about Slice of Life always it beams me up, Scotty. That shit just gets me so hyped, because I'm like, listen, like, this is exactly, because I feel like you understand why I can literally spend like the rest of my life since probably 2012. My life just changed when it came to anime. I didn't give a fuck about all the action shit, unless it was like sword art. I still love sword art, guilty pleasure, call it whatever you want. But I love it, man. I just love it. And to see you talk about it, especially with somebody who I obviously respect and whose opinion is valid for me, it's a treat. But I gotta hear people dive out of a genre that's not their own, and what they think, because that gets me curious.
Well, that's also how the sleeper was formulated.
True.
But on top of all of that, I'm not sure why it was a weak, especially considering so many of these were genres or are genres that I thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah, like a lot of them. Same.
But I don't expect this to be going on long. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I even for like, and I feel like I've said this even for shows like the girl I like forgot her glasses. The girl I like forgot her glasses. Yeah. Even for like that show, I expect a slightly better uptick. I don't think it's going to be a lot better, but I'll tell you 100%. I know I hate this show specifically for the fact, not hate it, but what I hate about the show is the fact that we got at this point now almost a year of seasons of anime where we had more adult or like more forward motion in slice of life relationships in conversation, right?
Yes.
Less nervousness, more like, okay, well, let's get to the root of the cause. And now going back to this feels like
a step backwards.
This is the baby slice of life that I should have never watched. As like if this was my first slice of life, I would have turned this off and been like, no. So I'm just gonna say this as a person who now enjoys slice of life. Make sure the girl you like forgot her glasses is not your first slice of life, because if it is, I'm sorry.
So this is the thing. We have to put it in perspective again. We have to compartmentalize. Yeah, thank you. So we have to, because again, the show is adolescent boy growing up.
Right. And neither of us are adolescent boys.
Exactly. So you think about it, you're fresh in middle school, okay? You have a crush on a girl. You have to take a step out of Montel Williams' shoes, who just used to walk into relationships in middle school. I've seen it. Like, I've been there.
I didn't walk into them, they walked into me.
That's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were just there. So it's like, you have to put it in perspective. Normal high school kids in a culture that isn't, not high school, middle school kids in a culture that isn't ours, they go through this shit, bro. So seeing it is neat. You know, it's kind of neat. While we have been getting much more mature high school, college kind of relationship slice of life, there's also a space for this. Now, the problem that with this show is the week to week narrative, right? For me personally, is weak. It's not the main character himself that's weak. It's the girl who keeps fucking forgetting her glasses. It's all the show is. While it's titled
5 times an episode.
While it's titled that, I'm over it.
I think she a better liar than the dude from what's his name, Akira. I think she a better liar than dude from Liar Liar. I swear she got contacts in, bro. She got contacts.
That's gap. She don't.
No, you can see the little lining around her eye. You can see it. Her pupils don't grow. She got contacts in.
I do miss more slice of life though. Even while I have been spoiled lately, I just miss it and to be fair, my tiny senpai is kind of that too. A bunch of people playing adolescent games, but they're adults, so that's also kind of strange. But I miss having more slice of life to watch.
Yeah. But more or less, I just want to say, don't let a week get you down. You know what I mean? Regardless of that, a lot of this anime is still really, really good. It's just a week. That's all it is. We still had some heat this week, like JJK, Bleach. What else? The Undead Murder Farce. Like I said, even that, I think had a great setup for it. The Dream Boy as a realist was great. Rent a Girlfriend to me was also great this week because of the actual motion. Yes. Oh my God, bro. It was worth it. Man.
We've been building up to this for what? How many seasons? 2?
This was the 3rd season, you know, we finally here. And it took 2 or 3 more episodes before we really got here.
Absolutely.
But, I'm just joking. But like Rain of Seven Spellblades, I don't think it's a bad anime. It's actually probably one of the best ones that we're watching for this season.
Beautiful intro too.
I just think it was a weak week this week. You know what I mean? And that could just be me.
I got a shout out.
Let me see that shirt.
Oh, it's a Lou Complex Libra shirt.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, it's pretty fire. This is very old. This is like one of their first drops. But there is next week. No, before that, I do want to give a shout out, a big random shout out. This big random shout out goes out to Crunchyroll. Shout out to Crunchyroll for adding the skip intro button, bruh.
I thought that they added that.
No, they haven't, and it's been pissing me off because the one site that I go to that shall not be named to watch Bleach because I don't have Hulu, has the skip intro button, and for years I've been like, yo, please, Crunchyroll, I'm tired of skipping this shit manually. I got it down to a science though. I'm pretty good at it now, but the fact that I had to get it down to a science, but now I can just hit skip intro and it's skipped is fucking amazing.
I mean, I know on my TV it don't have a skip intro button, but on my computer it's had a skip intro button for like the last 3 or 4 months.
Then, dude, I've been watching Crunchyroll on my computer for years, and it's never had a skip intro button until now.
I think maybe a specific anime. I don't know.
Did you have an app or something on your computer, or you just went to the website?
I just go to the website.
Yeah, same. I don't know. Maybe you had. Maybe you were in the beta. I don't fucking know. I just got that shit 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and I've been meaning
Crunchyroll. That's what it is.
Yes, I would always pay for that.
I'm just joking, bro. I'm paying for it. How much use Crunchyroll app?
Straight up. No, I'm always paying for Crunchyroll. You should too if you're listening to this podcast. Honestly, we need more anime. This is how we get more anime.
I'm telling you,
the only way. And buying their merch, but I digress. Not everybody's as that. So yeah, and then lastly, I fucking lost my train of thought with the Crunchyroll thing. It happens. Fuck it. It's gone. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So next week, for those of you who are familiar with the way My Check Waifu works, at a certain time during the season, we like to give mid-season grades. Next week is going to be mid-season. It's the midterms for the summer 2023. So if you guys have midterm grades for the summer, make sure you tweet X post. Make sure you X at us. I don't fucking know how this shit work anymore. On Twitter, follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Mike Check Waifu, just one waifu. Or email us at contact@mikecheckwaifuwaifu.com and give us your grades for the summer season so far. What do you think of the overall summer season if you're watching week to week? What's your favorite shows? What's your surprises, etc.? Make sure you tweet. They literally got rid of the word tweet all on Twitter or X. So now it's hard for me to even say tweet at us because they changed it, which is fucking stupid. It pisses me off. So I'm going to continue to say tweet. Tweet at us at Mike Check Waifu on x.com/Mike Check Waifu and let us know your grades, your sleep, your surprises, etc. Because we're going to talk about that next week. Those are always big fun episodes. Because we like to give a progress report of things, which is the thing that Shoko Ha should do. I think they do actually, because it just fits with them well. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about what I can't wait to talk about is next season. Fall, which is my favorite season, my favorite time of the year. It always has been. Not because only it's my birthday time, but it's just the weather. It's hoodie weather. I'm a big hoodie fan. Listen, I live in Texas and I don't have any fucking shirts. I just have black t-shirts, but I have so many fucking dope hoodies and jackets. It's painful. It's painful being in Texas.
You're a little further north now too. You might get some snow. A day of snow.
That's something. But yeah, so interesting. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. What are we spoiling this week?
Jobless.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. I would say Jobless. Let's talk about The Dream Boy is a Realist. And well, you didn't want to go too much in spoilers on Bleach. Let's talk JJK. Okay,
let's do it. Because JJK ain't coming back for a month.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with JJK first, since that's what most people watch anyway. So we'll start off with JJK, then we'll move on to everything else. We'll be right back after the smooth tones brought to you by your boy, DJ Polo. And welcome Black to episode 214 of My Check Waifu. Thank you so much for supporting us. Follow us on Instagram at Mike Check Waifu. On the threads at Mike Check Waifu. On TikTok at Mike Check Waifu. And on X at Mike Check Waifu. We appreciate you. All right, spoiler half of the show where we go deep dive into spoiler shows that the episodes we talked about prior to going to break. We're going to start off with JJK because we know that most people watch JJK, and then we're going to go to Jobless, followed by The Dreaming Boy is a Realist. So without further ado, let's do further. JJK, another spectacular episode. We learned a lot. You know what this episode made me think about?
What was that?
And this might be blasphemy to a lot of people. Okay. But it made me think about how much I love the power system of JJK until Hell's Paradise came out. Then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, Hell's Paradise, I instantly compared it to Hell's Paradise because I'm like, damn, this power system's dope in JJK. And Hell's Paradise, as Gojo was talking about how he, manipulates it and this is the way I keep it and this is the way it was fire. It was totally fire and it makes sense for that power system per se. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but it's not sensical. Unlike Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise is rooted in a reality. Obviously, it's not real, but it's rooted in a reality that you can grasp, that you can understand easily while still having the complexities of a power system that is that is unfathomable when it comes to like other like things you can possibly see in this world. Like it can scale exponentially compared to JJK's. I feel like JJK Gojo is the
pinnacle.
Is the boss. He's just it as we know, for future reference too.
And hear me out. And this is as we like to do. We like to play devil's advocate, contrarian to the other.
Sure.
I have to disagree in a sense, and I'm only gonna say it like this, right? It's really, and I'm thinking about it more, but I really think the only one that's nonsensical is Gojo, right? Because, and I'm not even gonna say it's nonsense, because it the way that they set up the system, Gojo's power makes sense, and I know that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at it, it's like a lot of it is nonsensical, but I think it also depends on, I guess. And I mean, I don't know a ton about Japanese culture, but I know a little bit about how they feel about spirits and curses and stuff like that.
For sure.
In that aspect, it makes sense because they have like a curse for everything. You know what I mean? If you don't wash the bathroom enough, you get a curse. And I think that they have like it makes sense in a way, but I see what you mean, because even when you go into the conversation, like how they explain it in Hell's Paradise, for me, that's just amazing. You know what I mean? It's broken down to you almost in like layman's terms without having to treat you like you're stupid.
It's not even the fact that it's layman's terms. It's like I said, it's rooted in a reality that's actual. It's real. Like people, I mean, it's not real per se, but you can say that people has chi. You can call it yin, you can call it yang, you can call it karma, you can call it whatever energy you can call it. They both share the same concept in a sense. But JJK is nonsensical, while Hell's Paradise is rooted in a reality as possible to an extent that's obviously exaggerated, right? Like you can't become invincible because you are strong within your chi. I'm just saying in like a general sense, like I'm not, you got somebody that can fucking eat, that absorbs curses. You got somebody that like uses like the voodoo systems and shit. Like it's a spectrum that's all over the place. That's nonsensical. That doesn't make, it makes sense in the world of JJK, but it doesn't make sense in a sense of like, you don't know what the fuck. They can literally make up some bullshit and it just is believed because of the way the curse system is. In Hell's Paradise, while there is bullshit, but it's bullshit in the sense of what's up?
They're just how do they say it? Exacerbating it. Not exacerbating. They're making it larger than life in a sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you can breathe and focus your energy in your mind, and you got to keep, this piece of like, yes, I have anger and frustration, but yes, I also have calm and purpose, and then you meld them together. Yes. And then boom, you have an action. But all right, now let's do that, but explode it. And it's not even like it necessarily explode it. It's more like, let's do that now. I'm gonna just make it bigger.
And if you exude this Tao energy, right, you lose some life force, or you lose something important, which also has a risk factor that is also believable and tangible. And again, I guess the way I'm wording it is kind of difficult, because I'm saying like one is sensible and one is not, and one isn't, right? I'm saying like JJK, both of them aren't sensible, right? This is fucking anime. So it's like unbelievable powers, exponentially crazy bullshit is happening in both these shows. But what I'm saying is it's something you can wrap your mind around. Like Hunter x Hunter is a great power system, but you really can't wrap your mind around it like you can Tao or like you can curse energy, right? Fucking Super Saiyan shit, all that bullshit, I never understand that. That's the most outrageous fucking bullshit ever. So it's like, yeah, exactly. Very,
it's key. That's what it is. Not key.
It's key, but it's very, you can't, what the fuck? It's stupid.
You can't yell enough to grow hair.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's all ridiculous. While all of it is ridiculous, some of it is you can gel with more because of the way it's explained. And curse energy is one, like during the beginning of this episode when he was explaining, I'm like, oh, it's fire. Like, I get it. I don't like it as much as I like Tao, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not as I was fucking captivated by Tao. I'm sitting there watching the Tao explanations from different perspectives and different angles. And I'm not saying that Hell's Paradise is better than JJK. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, it feels right in that world. While cursed energy, you just don't fucking. Well, while we know what happens later, because we read quite a few chapters ahead of this particular situation, you just feel, you don't feel as attached, I guess.
Can I talk about us reading so many chapters ahead? Yeah. This was so much better than reading it, though.
I agree.
This was so much better than reading it. This was.
I said this before. It made me regret that I read it.
I mean, I don't even. And go ahead. What were you gonna say? Because
it just. Now that I know what's gonna happen, like I don't. I would rather have seen it in action play out more than reading it. While reading it, it was cool. Like I'm like, oh, I'm into it. I'm invested. You know, your art, situations, incidents, all that shit. Like I'm in it when I'm reading it. But like seeing the shit animated and just watching everything play, I'm like, if I just didn't know what was gonna happen, I would be gassed right now. I'll be so gassed, like pedal to the floor gassed.
So let me fix this for you, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how to fix this. I got a homemade remedy that will fix that exact feeling for you.
Give me a concussion.
Which Celsius is that? The peach Celsius or which one is that? Oh, that's the citrus one.
Tropical vibe.
Bussin', I got that right over there too.
Fire.
So here's the remedy for what you're feeling with JJK. Watch the Tournament of Power of Dragon Ball Super, and what that will specifically teach you is how to turn your brain off. Because you can't do it.
It's impossible.
Hey, look, hear me out though. I literally went into this like episode though, and I was like, all right, I know what's gonna happen. And I was like, is there a way that I can turn my brain off? Can I really turn my brain? And I obviously know, right? I know it's gonna happen, but I kind of it's almost like even though you know it's gonna happen, you kind of got to go in and hope that they don't do the exact same thing, like expect nothing. But I really loved watching this play out though, bro. Like this was a whole like. I love how my imagination works. I feel like my imagination was more grand than what the anime shows us.
Yes,
but Mappa is doing such an amazing job making this look good, making this sound good, making this feel good. Mm-hmm. That bro, it was fire, man.
Let me tell you my favorite part though.
What was it?
When he met his friend at the in the Shinjuku, mm-hmm. and she was like, "So you gonna tell me if is any of this stuff true?" And the way he said, "No, it's true." Mm-hmm. The way he said it it gave me chills, and now. That part was what was so much better than reading it, because reading it, I feel like it was said coldly. Like I feel like it was said so cold. Yeah, like just so like yeah, it's true. You know. However he said, I don't know the exact wording, but you know what I mean. The way he said it, I just feel like it was more ominous, but he was elated by saying it.
And that's the thing is I entirely agree with you, because that was a very stark difference. Because to me, I feel like his voice was deeper. Yep. I felt like he was like, "Yeah, I did it." And I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you're reading it, you like at the beginning before he's talking to the other special grade sorcerer. Mm-hmm. I felt that conversation was so drab as it was in the manga. I felt like that drabness continued on up until he met his friend at the Shinjuku, even though he had that smile that you see in anime where their eyes is closed and they're smiling, like, you know, that shit where they seem excited or they're trying to, the fake smile that they talked about in Jobless Reincarnation. It felt like it was that, but it wasn't. And again, that shit gave me chills because I'm like, oh, this guy is he's a demon.
And that's something that manga can't really always explain very well without adding a ton of extra characters around the page and stuff like that. Exactly. And we actually just had you said something to me on TikTok about a monologue. I guess it technically wasn't a monologue. It was a duologue. But the point I'm trying to get at is that the intention behind how something is said. Because when you look at how he said it, he's talking to his friends. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A friend. He knows that like this is gonna be trouble, or more or less, but he's talking to a friend still. And he believes that what he's doing, what he set his mind on, is not wrong.
Right.
So he's moving like, hey, look, I'm not necessarily doing anything wrong. And I want to talk to my friends and try and convince y'all if I can, you know what I mean? And the person who is the most like distraught and broken up about it, because she's still talking to him like a friend. She's like, hey, look, I ain't trying to get killed.
Yep.
I know what this look like if I try and fight you.
Yep.
I ain't trying to do that. But, you know, I'm going to call Gojo and see what's happening.
And she did it right next to him like it was nothing.
But that's, like I said, they're friends.
Yep.
Even to like the extent of like they've had so many casual conversations with each other, and reading it, we forget that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We forget they have so many casual conversations with each other to the point to where, yeah, we have hostility right now. Like we know this is a tricky situation, but you know, we got to figure this out. And that's exactly what you said. That's why this was so cool and why that moment was so impactful, because we had no idea that it was just literally that cool for him.
Him talking to Gojo. I feel like him talking to Gojo was exactly how I read it in my mind, but it was more. Mm-hmm. It was just it was scary. You know what I'm saying? Like when he laughed, he said, you really think you can kill all the non-sorcerers? And he said, arrogant. And I'm like, damn. He's like, you could, right? And I'm just like, fuck. So for you to believe that you're the only one that can, the writer, bro, of this shit he was pen and paper. I feel like he was writing this shit and he didn't stop for 4 days. This entire arc, he just was writing that shit and he was going. Right. The pen was flowing, man, because he was just like, every point that he made was so poignant and cold and just fucking. I get why he's evil. I get his intentions behind it. Like it's a villain I understand, and that's what I love more than anything, is having a villain that I can understand in a way that is depressing, man.
Yeah, because in a sense, he don't want people to get hurt, but you know, he's saying you got to crack a few eggs.
Exactly. And fuck that special grade sorcerer. It's all her fault, because she went over there talking to him like, listen, there's a way we can get rid of all this curse energy, and this is the way you do it. And I'm like, fuck, this is how you became what you became. I'm interested to see, you know, because I don't think we've read to the point where we figured out what he did to his brain or whatever, you know, because obviously in the future he has the stitches where his brain is. So I'm curious to see how that go. Maybe I did read it and just forgot about it. I would love that. Oh God, I would love that. But
I was just about to tell you, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep my mouth shut.
There's so many parts that I wish I would have forgot. Like after the Shibuya incident, like it's just too much. That's the problem with JJK. It's such a good read that you remember every fucking thing, man. I do remember everything. I totally do. Oh, it's killer. It's killer. Such a killer situation to be in. I was about to say, what's your gut check? Well, I'm tripping.
So I think
what you feel about the show being gone for a month?
I hope Mappa gets some rest. Y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve it. Y'all don't need to work as hard as I do from Zom 100. Y'all need rest. Y'all need to take a break.
Yeah, so it's like they go from Hell's Paradise they go from 4 other shows last season to JJK to fucking just so many shows. I do hope they get a break too. All right, so moving on. Jobless Reincarnation. Show spectacular, front to back, man. This is the first episode that felt like a normal episode. And the reason why, not only did it feel like a normal episode from a contextual standpoint, like, because if you watch the normal episode, it's just a slice of life episode. There's nothing drab about it. There's no background drama or interlacing. There's interlacing storylines, but there's nothing major that is that's like hurting us as a protagonist. Hear me out. Now, this is the thing. This is the first time that it had an intro and an outro, because it was intentional, because of the episode just being a slice of life episode. This is and this has just come from me following a lot of Jobless Reincarnation like YouTube pages, and they explain this, and they said like this is going to be an episode that feels normal for the first time in forever for not only us as viewers but for Rudy himself, because he's in a school again. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's just living a normal life where he's meeting these people who he knows their type, their personality types. He lived it in the real world. So it's like, it's a normal episode that he just has to navigate through, you know? So I think Jobless Reincarnation does shit so special. And this was one of the things that they do special was show you a contrast of just a normal slice of life episode with a normal intro and outro, which they haven't done probably since ever. So it was very intriguing.
The way they go into the outro after what would they think I'm lying about or I forgot about, and then I'm not telling, and then it goes into outro. I thought it was because of that we finally got the interaction we've been looking for since season 1. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I'm thinking they gave us the intro, and I was confused at the beginning too. Like, why did we get a whole intro? And then we get to that ending. I'm like, this is why we got the intro. Is because they were getting us reacquainted to like, and I'm not saying that they specifically did this a lot in the beginning first season, but I think in the first season they only had that opening episode or like one episode where there was like an intro and an outro. Like, I think, and I could be entirely wrong. They could have did that, yeah. But I thought they had like maybe one episode that had an intro and outro in the first season, and I felt like this was the reintroduction to that concept. And not that they're going to continue doing, because I hope they don't, because they do such an amazing job with what they do. But I thought it was the introduction to giving us, you know, Sylphie again. You know what I mean, and making her a regular. And like you said, it felt regular, like a regular episode, and it was very refreshing for this series, because we've been getting like beat over the head with depression, with misunderstandings, with trauma and drama and anger and frustrations, and we've been getting beat over the head for Rudy. Every episode we with Rudy, we getting beat over the head. So it was very nice to kind of to get this episode where it was way less that. He still got beat over the head a little bit for coming up with some panties, but it wasn't his fault this time.
Yeah,
but
for once.
In general, though, this was a really, really good episode, though. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I watched Sylphie get angry. That was my favorite part of the entire show, was watching her get angry for them coming at Rudy that way. Like, that shit was fucking fire. Oh man, there's a lot that in this episode that happened that there was a mistranslation at the very beginning. I don't know if you saw it when he fought Fitz.
Oh yeah.
He said she in it. So, and in the rest of the episode, he continued to say he.
It was two people who said she though, because I think when he was talking to, who was he talking to? He was talking to his pupil. And they said Miss Silent or something like that.
Oh, okay. So it was.
And then they went back to he after that initial conversation trade, and then back to he. So I thought it was like, I don't know if they just plan or like they are using words that are loosely able to be translated that way, because I don't know Japanese.
I think it's just a translator fucking up.
Yeah. They knew the translator know that's Sylphie, so they like
right, exactly. It was a very interesting episode for him to talk to his cousin Luke.
Ducerino.
Not really Ducerino, but you see how he said, "Are you Fitz?" And he's like, "What?" And then they leave it at that, because the reason why she went with Fitz is because she described Fitz as Rudy without saying it. I'm curious as to the main thing, obviously, with this whole thing is, why is Sylphie keeping it a secret?
Because he needs to know.
Exactly.
Come on, bro. Like, yeah, he introduced himself very plainly and obviously when he came in. So obviously people know who he is. But how many silver-haired, white-haired elves that you've seen, especially with the fact that he put the pieces together, your hand is soft like you've never held a weapon before. You know what I mean? He knew that Sylvie didn't have to use words to cast spells, didn't he?
Well, he taught her.
That's what I'm saying. How many people can do that?
He don't know. That's what it is. It's like he has no fucking clue. Like even when he said, I'm looking for somebody. Yeah, he was talking about Sylvie initially, which made her ecstatic about it because she's like, oh, so he is looking for me. Like, she was happy. She was happy about that. But he only said that because he didn't want her to know that he was doing that just so he can get his wee up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many fucking just things that are like, it's tough, man. It's a tough situation because he's true to himself. And that's why I think what makes his main character so fucking great is that he's him. And I don't mean him as in the term of Jay-Z, right? I'm him. He's just himself.
Right.
And that's why this show's so special. And it's so familiar to me. Not familiar. It's so similar to my favorite anime of all time, or your favorite anime of all time, Re:Zero, because it's just the main character being himself, and that's what I think is so important to the show, and that's what makes the show so spectacular. Outside of obviously the writing and the situations and the so many different
reasons to fucking cry.
Yes, it's just, and it's the cry, and it's not the cry of fucking sadness. It's the cry of just like, so drab.
Yeah, it's the cry from frustration, from sadness, and it's only, like I said, these things is like. It's because you get frustrated from things that of like the misunderstandings and whatnot, right?
Right.
Like Rudy don't have to go through this if he just understood.
And it's not even a him understanding; it's them understanding. It's a fucking just a dance battle. It's the best dance battle ever done on fucking World Dance fucking tour, whatever the fuck it's called.
World of Dance.
World of Dance. There it is. It's that, man. It's incredible. Such an incredible show. And then moving on to another incredible show. The Dreaming Boy is a realist. While us talking about a week, this one wasn't as strong as the rest. But I will say it was still good.
This is one of the few that like I said, it just hasn't missed yet. At least not for me. And I imagine Polo feels the same. The beauty in this show is exactly what you said about the previous show. Our main character is himself.
Yes.
He ain't changed for nobody. And the thing is that, yeah, he changed in the context of who he was before we met him.
Yeah.
But since we met him, he has been himself. And I love that he don't let that change for nothing. Even when he feels those moments of like, obviously he'd be like, she's so cute. And he does that. He does it every single time, bro.
Yeah. And
I love that. Cause he did that in, was it the first like 3 or 2 minutes or something like that? He did it before the intro even came on. Yep. And I was like, I love to see that you're here, bro. You ain't changed one bit.
Yeah, man. The thing that constantly stirs in my mind is me getting upset at the fact that I don't want this to turn out how it's probably going to turn out. And that's them fucking confessing to each other in the way that her is confessing to him. I don't want them to be together. Or at least if they do, I want her to see him happy with another girl. Like, I just want her seething because like, this is your fault. And I know that's petty of me, but I would enjoy that. I don't like her. I still don't like her. And it's not that I don't like her as a character. I think she's still written well. I think she's still a good character for the arc of the show. I don't like her for the simple fact that she's getting upset at him, or for getting upset at him for doing what she quote unquote wanted.
Yeah. Even
if it's not what she wanted the entire time.
I think
it's frustrating.
That is very frustrating in general, right? Because as a husband, I like open lines of communication.
Yes.
I like to be told exactly what I want
as a human,
or what you want, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to give you. And I say that in the context of like, a closed mouth don't get fed. I entirely agree with that. And I think that not saying exactly how you feel in some situations, not all situations, but not saying exactly how you feel in some situations with you wanting something, to me, is manipulation. And I hate feeling manipulated.
Right.
I hate the manipulative. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me because now I'm not paying you as much attention as you used to getting. And now you got to come get all in my face because now I know me as a person, I'm bothered now.
I'm bothered as fuck, bro.
Because I gave you your space. That's what you wanted. And now you came and now you in my space. Nah, bro. I need you to step back like 10, 20, 30 feet.
God, bro, I never agree with, I agree with you a lot, all the time. I feel like we are close in that way. I never agree with you more. Like, get the fuck back, bro. Like, just leave me. Now, listen, I gave you your chance. You said no hundreds of times to this kid. He got into this high school just to be with you, just to follow you around, just to continue to try to express his feelings. And now with this soccer ball, which is soccer ball kun is the most important character in the entire show.
Yeah, I swear.
Just like an Orisugi bench kun was.
He got Izukai with the soccer ball.
The soccer ball is the greatest character of all time because it brought this motherfucker to reality to know, like, yo, I gotta stop this. I gotta stop clamoring over this girl who just, and his mindset isn't right. It's not the right way of doing it because he's doing it in a way as unselfish to himself that is caring to her. He's like, I got to step away from her because she needs to live a normal high school life. And I can't be surrounding her because this is causing her to not have other friends. This is causing her to miss out on other opportunities that seem to be better fit for her. She's missing out on opportunities to just do more within her school career. I'm a step back for her, which is admirable, right? Like, I respect you for doing that, but it's not what you should be doing it for.
Because you lose that sense of purpose and the fact that he could be doing something for him fucking self. You know what I mean? Himself. He could literally, and I'm not trying to say that like, yeah, selfishness is ideal, but I'm a firm believer if you can't help nobody till you help yourself. Yeah, if you're not in a good place, how can you help someone else? Like, yeah, you can pull somebody up, you know, when you get there, but the reality is that you got to be above somebody to pull them up. You know what I mean? And
the sad part about it though is that he's pulling himself down to bring everybody else up with his lack of confidence and unintentionally helping others in a way that he needs to be helping himself with. That's what it is. It's a string of him just helping other people in the way he himself should be helped.
Are we only watching this show in hopes that he don't end up with her?
Yes, absolutely.
Because that would be the realest thing, right? Because I don't need you being mad that or hovering around me because I had a cold because I protected you from water. I need you, shorty, to actually just go away. Yeah. Go to college and do something outside of what I'm doing.
Yes, man. Why do I agree with that so much? And that's the fucking sad part. Like, I know it's not going to be what I want. But it feels good watching him. And then this, again, on the contrary to what Annie-List believe. Annie-List is like, yo, there's so much shit that's just missing. Because maybe it's character development that's within her that we're not getting, that's in the light novel, and why Annie-List hates this fucking show. I even got a comment on a TikTok I did when I recommended this show that they're like, no, it's just a bunch of back and forth of them, you know, sidestepping this weird, awkward relationship. And that's what slice of life is. Every slice of life you've ever watched has always been that until like the last episode, until they finally get the shit together. But
I ain't even gonna hold you. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But this is done in a way that's like different, and that's why it's so well liked by us, because I feel like if it was just a normal back and forth, it'll be whack. You'll be validated, Annie-List, as to why you gave this a 63 and why everybody hates it.
And what I was gonna say is this, bro. Because I'm looking at the Annie-List score, 63%, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's way off. And after watching more and more of this, I feel like maybe a 7.5, 7.8 at like the minimum. Because I feel like, at least from the characters themselves, this show got to be in the 8s.
100%.
Because it's like, it's good. It's really good. And I'm not sure if people are watching the same thing we watching. I'm confused. The show is actually good. Like, yeah, it ain't got to be the best animation in the world, but the animation is bad. The characters and voice acting is solid. I don't feel like the pacing is taking us anywhere. Like I don't know what the end game is or anything like that, but the pacing don't seem like they're lagging behind on top of anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything seemed like it's actually going to head somewhere. We just not there yet. So for me, I'm confused on why people don't like it. Someone you said it's because they're not following the continuity of the story of the light novel.
Light novel. They shouldn't. We talked about this last week, and we aren't with you. But they were just saying, particularly that I can go to it actually. They were saying stuff like, the story seems to be stuck every episode, showing that both the MCs wanting each other, but still the condition stays the same. So no progress essentially is what people are continually to talk about. Like, man, I feel sorry for Sojo. Everyone is either stupid with him or doesn't care how he feels. His mother, sister, crush his friend, and crush. I enjoy the work, but I'm starting to feel really sad for the guy, and I'm starting to lose charm, and it's just starting to become sad. Just going to read into the end, but just have mixed feelings about the work. That comment happened before we did our episode. So it's like the pacing of this show is quite weird compared to the light novel. It seems that as though they're trying hard to portray the MC in a different light, where the story is, will they or won't they? When it's obvious that it intends for them to be together, but the light novel gives at least some value to his interactions with other females. But it seems as though that's just being lost. So there's a lot of like lost, I guess, content, not continuity, but just content in itself missing from within the show that gives the character more validity, if you will. Which I get. I get. Maybe that is the truth. Maybe if we read it, it'd be so much bigger and better. And you know what? Maybe after these 12 episodes is done, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking read it just to see if this is validated opinions, because just watching it, still, I enjoy it wholeheartedly. Even the will they won't they part that they're discussing, I feel like is every slice of life you ever watch. It's no different.
And that comment where it says the story seems to be stuck, that's 100% kind of true. But I feel like I can see why they say that, especially if they read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Because I guess in my perspective, I'm seeing him be. He said he's doing what he said he's doing, but he's still moving forward. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's taking it a day at a time.
In this situation, you have to. I feel like.
Yeah. In some episodes, it's 2 days at a time. However many episodes we get like that, you know what I mean? But maybe these people are a little bit more jaded because they have read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I almost burped. Maybe they're a little bit more jaded because they have read it and they have that context already, which we have with like JJK or something like that.
Right.
And it's just not been adapted to their liking. But I don't know, bro. As someone who hasn't read it, and like I said, I'll probably take that route with you after we're done with this season. Maybe I will read it. I want to see them. I don't want to see them together, to be completely honest, but I want to see that what they're talking about, like what was really that different.
Yes, man. So I think we should make a commitment right here today, August 7th, or whenever this episode comes out, which I think is August 9th, that we're going to read it. We're going to read it when these 12 episodes are done, up until the 12 episodes, obviously, and see how we feel. If we feel the same, then we'll report back to you. I think that'll be a dope type of conversation. I really do. I think and then we'll do a whole like full spoiler discussion of what we read compared to what we watched, because I need to know why we aren't with them, or if if we're jaded in the sense of we don't have enough information. Maybe we're just missing some strong context. But man, to be honest, I'm at Polo Born Fly on X and all other social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media, including X.
You can follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on X, at Mike Check Waifu, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And as always, Mike Check.
Too many X's. So many X's, we might have to put this on an 18 and up site.
Put it in that motherfucker somewhere.
I'm telling you. Hold up.
I'm still recording. I'm done.
Mic check, waifu waifu. Is that you?